Margaret Ann Lembo is from Boca, Florida, not Boca Raton, I'm sorry. And she's an award-winning author of best-selling Chakra Awakening, which is now in 5 languages. She's written some fantastic books on the essential guides to crystals. They're very easy-flowing books. She's very straightforward. I like her way. She also is the she's written several other books too as well, but she has led workshop and classes all throughout the country and Canada. And she is going to be joining us. And she also, the Crystal Garden is a bookstore that she does run also. And so I'm really excited to have her join us. And if she's there, that'd be great. Margaret?
I'm
Oh,
here.
hi, Margaret. Hello. How are you this evening?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
Fine. I'm really looking forward to interviewing you this evening. And I saw Doreen Virtue wrote a lovely, what would you call it, testimony to the book, one of your books. I saying you're a straightforward, straight to the hip type of woman. That she, really, I love that. And your work, I have read some of your books, and that's why I was looking forward to the show instead of getting too much involved if people don't understand the verbiage or something, because there's so much about stones and crystals, and you're pretty straightforward with it, and I think it'd be a lot of fun to talk about that. Also, people of all ages could understand better. Your children, you could get together with your children and have fun. Instead of going too much involving with, I mean, we all know they're for healing, but you wrote a fantastic book that was geared for children, not for them to read, but was geared for them to understand the colors and the the type of stones to pick out, and so they would have an understanding. Is that correct?
I did. My first book is Chakra Awakening, and my second book is The Essential Guide to Crystals, Minerals, and Stones. And at the same time as The Essential Guide to Crystals, Minerals, and Stones launched, I also was blessed to have published Color Your Life with Crystals. Findhorn Press published that for me. And I really wanted to have that for young readers. It's geared to ages 7 to 12, yet I'm finding that adults love it even more because it's like a really easy read, and it's really just a very simple approach to color, chakras, and gemstones.
Yeah, and it's something that you could really, instead of going to get manicures or pedicures with your children, it's a really nice thing to kind of introduce. I noticed that book, I found it interesting for me. But thinking about your grandchildren, I just thought, what a cool thing to write that was geared towards, because it's such a lovely, stones and crystals are so lovely, and like there's a lot of different properties to them. There's a lot of healing, but also there's a basic, authentic, or organic, of course, self to picking them out, and for you and the jewelry, and for children to know in a way at that age, I think is a really lovely way to introducing crystals into their lives without getting too much, overwhelmed, I guess.
Yeah, they
Uh,
seem to be so naturally attracted to it. The way that book evolved was my one of my customers was in with her grandson, and the grandson asked me, and he was around 8 because I asked him after he inquired. He wanted to know if this book. He came with a book in his hand. He said, "Is this for me?" And I said, "Well, it's not meant for children. Is that what you mean?" And he said, "Yeah." And I said, "I really want to understand and learn about crystals." And so I researched it. I had my bookseller hat on, because I was a bookseller and still am for so many years. And I searched and searched, and then I couldn't find one. So I thought, ha, my book is a best-selling book, Chakra Awakening. Let me write a young reader's version, and I did. And then it was just a little bit of work to find a publisher, but I was so grateful to find Findhorn to do it for me. So that's all, very successful. All my books, thank goodness, are very successful, including my deck, the Angels and Gemstone Guardians cards.
yes, they are. In fact, I have not bought them, but I have looked them over. I have seen your books. In fact, when did you write the Essential Guide to Crystals, the Minerals and Stones?
The
When is that?
Essential Guide to Crystals, Minerals and Stones launched in April of 2013, but I wrote it in 2011 and 2012. I mean, like
Okay.
it took me
So
a
you
while to
update
write
it.
it. It's
You
a pretty
update.
comprehensive book.
It's excellent. That's everybody out there. If you want to, it's a great book to go through. And again, it's so uh, what's the word I'm looking for? Not user friendly, but it's so it's you have a flow with how you can, it's very straightforward, but it has a lot of great information that isn't intimidating. I feel,
Yeah.
for anybody. And because you really you talk in that book about so you added to it as time, a couple of years go by, you added more information. Is that
No,
why you?
I actually set out to create a book like this because
Oh,
I've been selling gemstones for, more than 25 years now, probably closer to 30 years. And being a rock seller as well as a book seller,
hmm,
I knew what books were beneficial to my customers as well as for my staff to help customers. So I put all the components into all the books that I knew were going to help people find their way around and navigate and get the information they needed. So I did approach it from that perspective. So
yes,
the
and
essential guide is like a Bible. Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
yeah, and no, I'm sorry to interrupt you. I just want to make it. I want to say it again. That's what I really want. I really wanted to interview because you're very clear and straightforward about. Okay, this is about Chris, and you said something about your staff would be more. Um, informed, so they could make some informed suggestions or tell people about it in a clearer fashion. Because sometimes it's so overwhelming. Crystals. I mean, I have found, and perhaps that's why you did write that particular thing in a form where people would. I mean, you get right to it. You get right to it. And a lot of times, Vogel crystals, for instance, things like that, people that have these high tech things, it's way over comprehension sometimes. And it's just lovely to have a basic, uh, the organicness of it all. And I'm sure all the other information for some, but you carry on with a feeling that people would not feel intimidated. Hey, I was really want to get connected or acquainted with these stones and what kind of like what the color would mean, even, or picking one out, how special it is. Could you talk about that, as in fact, about how that is really important for maybe somebody to,
What's
uh,
that on how to pick a gemstone? Is that what you
yeah,
mean?
yeah, for them personally, and the color and how people are attracted to the certain,
Sure.
shapes.
Of course. Yeah. So there's a couple of different ways to answer that. And so one thing that I have found is very beneficial for people to pick out a gemstone because they always, want to be told what stone they need. But I find it very beneficial and also very empowering to redirect them to allowing their eyes and their consciousness to lead them to the rock they want. Now, I'm not talking over the top woo woo in this regard. I mean, standing in front of a series of gemstones, like we have the tumbled stones in bowls at the Crystal Garden. We have, so it has a bowl of carnelian and a bowl of green aventurine. Like they're just bowls, glass bowls filled with beautiful tumbled stones. So I encourage people to look and see where their eye is drawn. What are they naturally geared to? And they'll say, well, I'm not picking for me. I'm picking for my friend who has blah, 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 and they have this situation. And it's like, that's okay. It still works the same way. Keep them in your mind and your heart and just start looking and you'll find what always it works. This always works. They pick up a stone, then they read about it because I ask them, please don't read the little description. Just go with your intuition, go with what your eye is drawn to. And sure enough, when they read the information either on the little piece of paper that's in the bowl with the gemstones, or when we go to my book, The Essential Guide to Crystals, Minerals, and Stones, they find, wow, this is so on target for what I need, or in the case of picking for another person, what my friend needs. And we all have the information. I'm sort of unselling my book, but they we, we're all intuitive. We all know what we need. We just don't trust it necessarily.
Exactly. And if they don't have, I like how you said, don't read about it or anything else like that. Just pick what intuitively feels connected. In fact, that's how I first stones when those stones in the 80s, late 70s. I thought, how much fat, all the crystals, everybody was buying those. And I purposely didn't want to be a part of that. And this man had a van with all these crystals from Arkansas. And he goes, just looking, I've been looking at millions of these things in his van. I go, okay, that one, that one. Well, I ended up getting a record keeper of all things. A record keeper. I didn't know what that was. I found out later. But it was interesting because I didn't know anything about it. In fact, I thought they were silly. And from there, it took me to a journey of, wow, crystal. That was for me at the time. And then I lost it. I don't know what went. Someone else got it. But it was for me. It was for me. Definitely. It wasn't for anybody else. It was meant for me. And I think with children, when I've introduced crystals and stones to stones, they have those tumblers. Do they still have tumblers? You could tumble your own stones to get them involved and such, and use that intuition about what works, whatever they're driven towards. And also in astrology, you talk about in astrology wise, these stones are connected into each astrologically speaking. Could you talk about that a little bit too as well?
Sure. So what I've done with in the Essential Guide to Crystals, Minerals, and Stones is got looked. I connected with the gemstone, just writing each section, each different gemstone specifically. I would connect with the gemstone by first researching the geological, how it grew, where it grew, what conditions were present. Is it growing in a river or an ocean? Is it something that came from the sap of a tree, like amber? Is it something that was a result of a volcano or an eruption or or something hitting the earth, like a meteorite? And based on like the essential, like, beginning vibration of the gemstone, that would give me a clue. So for example, a stone that is very much from, like, say, from a riverbed or that grows in water is going to help with the emotions. And then water-based is also going to have to do with maybe Pisces, or because that has such a Neptunian vibration to it. So it's easy for me to correlate and translate how it might relate to a stone. The stone relates to a sun sign as well as the planet. And sometimes I even incorporated, if it felt applicable, even one of the asteroids. Because
Wow.
just like the stone has a meaning, it would make common sense to me, because I've been, in the world of metaphysics the majority of my life, that it would translate to how it would resonate with a planet or a zodiac sign. Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, there's four total hosts on the show. You can't hear them; they're very quiet. Two of them, which are, astrologers, and very good ones. Is that? Oh, yes, it makes perfectly good sense to me. Do you find that with children too? Like I said, I don't know if there's any other books like that. What you wrote, I know they're all unique, but that really is the best book for any younger person to connect with that book that you wrote. But do you find that children are connected, or have you noticed that children may be connected to a certain color that it's interesting? It might actually be their astrological. I mean, just because they don't know, but it just is connected to their. Have you noticed that?
I don't know if I've noticed that. What I've noticed is that children are interestingly enough attracted to the dyed gemstones or the man-made gemstones.
Right.
And I think it's because of the brilliance of the color and the vibrancy of the color. So, like,
Yeah.
magenta dyed agate or blue dyed
Mm-hmm.
agate or teal dyed agate, or even bismuth, which is man-made, or goldstone, which is
Yeah.
made of copper sulfites, and it's really glass, like originated from like Venice area. So it's very interesting and has to do with vibrancy. But I haven't, because it's not like I asked them, what sign are you or anything like that.
You don't sit there and go, I'd like you to take a survey, please.
They'll be like, what does this crazy lady want to ask me
That's
what
crazy
sign I
lady.
am for? They
No,
might
but
not even know what that means, depending on their age, right?
I just saw that. And I wish that book was. When did you publish that book particularly for the one?
Which one? Color Your Life with
Yes,
Crystals?
yeah, that one.
The young
Yes.
reader's title, Color Your Life with Crystals, actually came out simultaneously the same year, exactly the same birthday, if so to speak, like the launch date or the actual pub date, April 1st, 2013.
Oh wow. Because I'll
Yeah,
tell you.
Chakra Awakening came out 2 years prior, April 1st,
Uh,
2011. And then right now I'm working on a book on aromatherapy and vibrational healing that I think it's going to come out in 2016. I have to have it to the publisher by December. And
oh
it also
wow,
I'm
that
going to
sounds
make the
great.
correlation with the essential oils with the astrological and planetary vibration as well.
I wanted to ask you. I read about you would you say aromatherapist? I mean, I don't know what they're.
Yes, I am
Okay,
an
you know
aromatherapist. Uh-huh.
that's fascinating. So, do you make your own particular, you know, uh, oils for a particular person that might have some needs going on that, uh,
I
you
don't
know?
do it personalized. I do it more on a larger scale, planetary wise.
Mm.
So I do make blends, but I don't do like private sessions to come up with a blend for a given person.
You
I
don't have a big
have
brewing
my own
pot and
brand of
stir it for
essential
stir
oils.
it for all the. You have a brewing pot and stir it. Stirring. No, I think it's great about. I wanted to talk to you about the aromatherapy part of it too, because I was reading about that on your site, and that. So, how does that work? Can you explain to everybody how that? Well, your book's coming out. How are you? How does that? How are you coordinating that together with the stones?
How does what work? How does it work in relation
You,
to the gemstones?
yes, exactly. Yes.
Well, what I do is because okay, so I like to make gemstone tinctures or gemstone essences is what I should really call them. Gemstone essences, which is using the vibrational essence of the stone by placing them in water and some alcohol, and also adding to it holy waters and sacred site essences, and coming up with what I call a gemstone essence. And then I include that in my essential oil blends because the essential oils they all vibrate at a certain rate and have certain intended purposes on a physical level. But just like stones, they also have an energetic signature or digital signature that has to do with the mental, emotional, and spiritual bodies as well. So I like to integrate, I call it aroma energetics, and that's part of my brand. And I have a whole line of throat chakra spray, all the chakra sprays, and smudge and spray is my number one bestseller nationwide and into Europe. It's even being distributed in Europe. And sage and cedar spray is like pretty simple, but there's Mother Mary spray and Archangel Michael and Raphael. And the part that is so amazing about all these synergies or blends is that I would say 99% of the formulas come to me through divine inspiration, which I'm very grateful for. So I say they're mine, but I always hear in the back of my head them reminding me, we gave you that formula.
That's great. Well, I found that really interesting. I like how you said they call them the three. What do you say? The three. You
The
you
aroma,
said
the aroma energetics. I don't know what.
yeah. You just said you had a word for it. You had you had some holy water, the waters, and you
Oh,
called it.
the gemstone tinctures and holy
Mm,
waters and sacred site essences. So,
mm.
would you like to know a little bit about that?
Yes, I would love to.
Okay, so the holy water. So, okay, a little backstory is I was born and raised Catholic, and I didn't throw the baby out with the bathwater. No pun intended, but I guess it is a good pun, because I had a mom that was always putting holy water on us when we were sick, or if things were going weird, or having challenges. So holy water was something that I would collect when I would travel. If I went to a church, which when you go to Europe, you go to churches a lot to see the beautiful artwork and such. So I was collecting holy water from a very young age, and I've always kept holy water around. And then I also started taking people on sacred sites tours throughout England and Peru and Mexico and in Europe. And, well, I didn't really take them. Yeah, France, that's Europe. And so we went on these sacred sites journeys, and I still collected holy waters. And if there wasn't holy water to collect, I would make it. I would make it at the sacred site. So, whether it was chalice well water, which is right there and coming out of a spigot in Glastonbury, or if I was at a church that didn't had a dry, font, I would create it by intention using gemstones, and I came with my bottles. I brought empty amber bottles with me, and I would infuse it with prayer. We often did toning or some kind of energy work, and then I would bottle it up and take it with me. And I have it from all over the world. Then people started giving me holy water. And so what the combination of this is that we're always doing things to get rid of negative energy. We're always trying to clear, and that's great. But some of the things that we forget is that we want to infuse ourselves with blessings and love and replace all the negativity with goodness and well-being. And filling ourselves back up with that vibrational force helps to amplify, garner our energy up to a point that the negative energy can't have as much of an impact. Even when it's intended to have an impact, it can't affect us quite as much because we have, let's say, shored up our energy field. So that's what my intention is with all the sprays that I create. They all have positive thought forms attached to them. And it says it right on the label. So, the client who's using it doesn't have to figure out, I don't know what to do with this. It tells them right on the label and gives them an affirmation or a positive energy. So did that explain it well enough?
No, absolutely. And I was raised Catholic as well. And I do still I put holy water on before the show. I put it all over I always tell people, run into my burning. If you're not a good person, burn. I know about the holy water. But I think that's so absolutely fantastic that you were so, I don't know, connected to that holy water and how you now brought it to. It works for me. It works for me. And no, you're right about that. People that smudge, a very dear friend of mine who I worked with at one time, she said, there's one thing about smudging, but you need to also burn sweetgrass after you're through to bring in after you get the name, bring in the positive. So what you're saying is very similar, but not doing the smudging and the sweetgrass. But it's very important because most people want to get rid of all that negative, but you have to bring an intention of the positive. Is that what... Am I understanding that correctly?
Yes, even my smudge and spray, my the Crystal Garden brand smudge and spray, which is over 10 years old now. I think it's about 11 and a half years old. It's even sold in Whole Foods throughout Florida. That's how popular it is.
Wow.
Yeah,
that is
great. Thank you, Whole Foods, for carrying my products. But it's at all many grassroots, metaphysical shops around the country. So if anybody wants any, go to your local bookstore and they'll probably have it. And if not, they can easily get it because it's distributed through major distribution channels. But at any rate, the point what I'm really making is that smudge and spray, when I created it, it was mostly for my own benefit because I did a lot of medicine circle teachings, and I would burn sage at the beginning to call in the 7 directions and create a ceremonial circle of goodness, based on Native American type spirituality. And it started to affect my respiratory system, and I would often sing as part of the beginning of the ceremony, and I couldn't breathe. So I thought, I've been playing with essential oils for a gazillion years now. I should just make myself a smokeless version. So when I created it, I created it so that there's oils in it that are for clearing, but there's also oils in it that bring in blessings and love. And I, of course, have the sacred site essences and holy waters in there, and that changes the vibrational structure of that, and is very powerful. I mean, people really love it, and it's almost like sometimes I think they're a little addicted to my smudge and spray.
Actually, I like that idea because a lot of people, like my mother, has problems with their chest or some, or, can't breathe very well. And, that's the fact, I didn't even know about this. I didn't even know that they had. I'm glad you informed me. I'm happy to say right there, I got some information because that is a great idea. In fact, I wanted to talk about, so when you choose a crystal or people want to infuse, infuse them, is that what they would get? I mean, that's just as good. I smudge mine, for instance, with all the smoke, and or I
Yeah,
want
sure.
water,
You can
but
use smoke. You can use the sage and sage and cedar, or just sage to clean it.
right.
And also the breath. I was blessed to have the opportunity to, believe it or not, for a weekend, a long weekend, train with Marcel Vogel, and his intention and the way that he worked with clearing crystals was to use the pulsed breath and the intention to clear the crystal. And that works because that way, one part of that's fabulous is you don't have to buy anything.
Yeah.
You know, you
Well,
have, hopefully you
Marcel,
have your breath, and if you don't have your breath, then you don't need to clear anything.
yeah, with those Vogel crystal, I mean, they're fabulous, but they're quite, well, I interviewed someone years and years ago that worked with, yeah, those are pretty high end.
Right,
It's pretty
but you
high
don't you don't
end.
have to have a Vogel crystal to use the
You
way I'm,
don't.
I'm talking about.
That's true.
Oh
You
yeah,
know,
this is about clearing. So if you were to hold
hmm
any kind of gemstone, or if you didn't even hold it, if you wanted to clear a room, you form whoever forms an intention to clear, let's say, a room or a gemstone or your ring or whatever it is you want to clear. And as you bring the breath up and in, you form an intention. And I'm putting my fingers on my third eye center as I'm speaking here. You put all of your attention behind the center of your forehead and form a very strong intention that you're going to clear. And then you pulse the breath through the nose forcefully. You just like really blow out forcefully and then clear the space with your intention. And he did some really good, profound tests to document that the space changed significantly in a positive way after using that clearing method, more so than other techniques.
yeah, in fact, you're absolutely true. I remember, well, from what I recall, he was something else. And, but I wanted to go back a moment because I did want to ask you this, and I didn't do so. But jewelry, fashion. If you don't mind, I want to touch base with this. Well,
Yeah.
actually, we're going to take a short commercial, a 1 minute commercial
Okay.
from our sponsor, psychicaccess.com. But we'll be right back, and maybe when we come back, we can talk about that. So, one moment, please.
A new era in psychic services has begun. Psychicaccess.com. You can connect with our psychic advisors by telephone or chat 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. All of our psychic advisors are interviewed, fully verified, and accuracy tested, assuring you quality service. We're living in some very troubled times right now. More and more, the world's problems are affecting us on a personal level. You don't have to deal with this alone. Our highly accurate psychics, caring advisors, and talented mediums can help with situations you are currently experiencing and can let you know what the future may hold for you. All new customers get a free 6-minute reading. All you have to do is register. Why not visit us now and get a free reading at psychicaccess.com.
And we're back, and we're talking to Margaret about all about crystals. But Margaret, would you mind if we, touched on the jewelry, the fashion, because for men and women, and even their animals, I know have fashion of made from gemstones and well, maybe even diamonds. But I mean, could you talk a little bit about that? Like, because you're as a color expert, and how do colors when we wear in our fashion choices reveal about our personality, along with what jewelry we might, you know, fuse together with that?
Oh yes, this is one of my favorite subjects. I love to observe fashion. I'm not very fashionable in my own dress, I don't think, but I love couture and watching that and the red carpet and watching all that. But for the most more ordinary daily days of our lives here on the planet, we all get up in the morning and kind of know the course of our day or how we want our day to go. We know if we're going in to an office or if we're having to interact or make a presentation, and so many different things that we have. I mean, maybe working on a creative project, and by understanding and knowing color, you can really direct the course of your day. You can use it with intention and making that positive thought form attached to that color and that gemstone, whether it's in your jewelry or your ring or your bracelet or even costume jewelry. So I'm going to give a really quick overview, if I may, on the colors and then how they associate. Is that good?
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay. So, and this is in relation to the energy centers of our body, which is very thoroughly explained in my first book called Chakra Awakening. So at the first chakra, which is energetic, is the energy that's basically at the root or the base of the spine all the way down to below the soles of the feet. That energy is red, but it's also black, browns, grays, and metallics. So this red energy, which is just going to be easier to explain this, red energy is really good for health and vitality and lots of energy and passion for life and being motivated. So, and there's so much more, but you just even using that, if you're having a day that you wake, I mean, you are feeling exhausted. You are pooped. You're a pooped puppy. And so you need more energy. So that's the day that you might want to pick a garnet ring or a red jasper bracelet or put on your red suit or your red shirt, red socks, which not maybe all of those things, because then you might get a little angry because red is also associated with anger. Yeah. So, if on the using the contraindication, or let's say the complementary color, if you are having a time of it in life when you're more frustrated and more angry, you want to envelop yourself in blues and greens to calm down that inflamed state of consciousness. So blues and greens, you could wear, of course, blue clothing and or like lapis lazuli ring that day, or you can put on maybe a blue lace agate that's also going to help you calm down but have good communication skills, or a piece of turquoise, and so on. So that, just as an overview. And then, of course, just to go quickly through each of the colors, the orange energy, which is located at the navel, or some people call it the sacral chakra, that energy is really good about being motivated and moving forward and taking action on your creative projects. So if you've been procrastinating about something that you keep saying, someday I'm going to, whatever that going to do is, and you start the process by maybe carrying your carnelian or wearing a carnelian bracelet. I have a really pretty carnelian ring that I like to wear, or, I joke around and say, if you don't look good in orange, get some orange underwear, And then right. The idea is that go ahead.
No, I said, that's right.
It is. And so the idea is that it's not the color that's going to actually make it happen. It's not the gemstone that's going to abracadabra make something happen. It's the thought form or intention, the positive thought that you have, that you're using it in conjunction with that. So every time you see the orange or you see that red or whatever color you're using, you remind yourself, it's a reminder to put your attention back on what you do want versus what you don't want, because that's how we create our reality, is focusing on our thought, whatever our thoughts are. That's why worry and thinking about negative stuff just amplifies more negative stuff. It really does. And so, when we go to the yellow energy at the solar plexus, that's for self-confidence and courage, a good citrine stone or a golden topaz. Yellow clothes, get some yellow flowers, maybe put sunflowers on your desk. The green and pink at the heart chakra center, that's I'm really into green and pink together lately, magenta, especially right now for me. And this is just a vibration of love and more love and compassion and kindness to ourselves and others. And so if you're having a day that you need more nurturing, wear some green or pink clothes or both. Do it as a color combo, or get your emerald ring out, or a rose quartz bracelet, And then at the throat chakra, if you have to make a presentation that day and you're really nervous about speaking in front of other people, well, maybe that's the day you want to wear an aquamarine necklace at your throat, or your turquoise necklace that you have, or bracelet, or wear a turquoise shirt, and then the third eye center is an indigo, which is like a navy blue, purpley blue coloring, as well as white. Now the upper three chakras, you get into more like higher vibrational, higher frequency, and that is when we want to really get our intuition to work better, when we want to acknowledge our own well-being and our ability to connect with the divine. And the same with the white, the color white, it's crown chakra and the halo that's around our head. And that's when we want to remember that we have a divine spark within us, just every single one of us. So that's my really speedy version of that.
No, I love that. I love that. In fact, a lot of people I've noticed may not even know. You said public speakers. You said turquoise or their throat for talking.
Yeah, and, a throat and pastel blue. So
yeah, that's lovely. In fact, I have a very dear friend who's a public speaker. Does a lot keynote speaking, and it's a woman friend, and it's interesting because I don't know if she's even noticeable, but I notice there's a lot of turquoise sometimes, beautiful turquoise. I've not all the time, but I was just reflecting on when you were talking about that. I wonder, maybe it just comes naturally sometimes. Because a lot of people don't know. Maybe, well, they should read those books, because they may not know much, but maybe they just know what they need, and they also can spread the love, spread the energy out in the world. Like you said, it's deliberate attraction, by wearing these things. That's important. It's like anything else, the power of the voice or verbalizing, but what you're putting on your body and the color of the fat. I love that. And everybody listening, that makes a lot. Of course, that makes sense. And for healing or whatever, but also it does attract, it puts out there and helps you share it with others as well.
Yeah, like if you have to interact with somebody who's an angry and challenging individual, that might be the day to wear like your cobalt blue or navy blue. And I'm very, hot-blooded, intense person. And even with all my meditation work, even with all this work that I do, that's just part of my nature. I'm pretty, intense. And I wear a lot of cobalt, because my intention is always love, but I can be intense. So I know that I need to temper that,
I like that. Because you're too intense, whatever. It's like, but I love how you just say you embrace it. I am intense, and that's okay. But cobalt blue color is what you're saying, and the stone. I forget what the stone is. There's
lapis lazuli, silverlight, right?
Sapphires, of course, the love of my life. But yeah, but also, like the grounding stone. I don't know, hematite.
Yes.
I love touching that stuff. I love touching that stone, but I have some things made of that, and I do find that I wear it when I really, I know I meditate. I can't ground myself enough, but that it does feel good. And I don't know what do you think about that stone? A lot of people know, or kids might like that a lot too. But what do you think about it? I'd like to hear what your thoughts are on that, because
it's a favorite, right? That is such a popular stone. We can barely keep it in stock. We have quite the collection of hematite rings. We just keep them at the front counter. I mean, because people wear them to help with stress, So it's a great stone for stress reduction, lowering blood pressure, hyperactivity, anxiety, frustration. And so it's good for, and I really dislike this label, but I'm going to use it just for our definition purposes, but ADD, ADHD type personalities.
Right. Right.
Very helpful for that. And then, sometimes when people are really excitable, against people are, or children, let's say children,
Yeah.
when they come into the store, they're more
They,
often than, and I'm using my store as an example because it's a public
yes.
place. But when they go out, sometimes they can act up and be excitable. And so, although most of the time in the store they're very, very good, but on occasion. And
Right.
that has really helped them be focused and grounded, and I just let them play with it. There are times that the mother or father or caregiver is trying to shop and the kids are kind of, getting a little crazy. Just give them a couple pieces of hematite. Tell them, here, sit here with this bowl and have a good time.
No, I think it's better. It's like being in a candy store, but a better thing in your store. I'm sure I'd love to be in your store. I mean, come on.
Yes.
And I know the bowls you're talking about, the stones. I have to replenish mine. In fact, I've run out. I used to buy as many different ones as I could, and whoever I might read for. Back in the day, in person, things are all over the internet now. But I'm kind of by my. But I would, whatever I had a feeling that somebody I didn't know, just go here. This is for you. Take this or take these. I always like to have something. I don't know certain ones,
Aw,
and
that's very
unlike this one.
generous.
No, but it's good for me to do that as well, and it always felt so right. It wasn't like I go, oh, I just want to be really cool. I always felt like sometimes I really like it. I go, I think my feeling is you need this right now. Whether who do I think I am? But still, maybe I don't know. They were either they were fusing towards it. I would notice, or just felt right. And then
Good.
I'd run after them and go, give that back. No, no, I wouldn't do that. But I do like for heal, of course, rose quartz and But you talk about children, they get their imagination. You said they like the colors, the ones that the stones that they gravitate towards are the rocks, and their imagination is all about that. I think it's so beautiful, really.
Really, well, that's the key to
Yeah.
our own, success in the world and
Mm,
intuition is to use our imagination as if we have still the imagination of a child.
mm-hmm. Very much so. I remember a long time ago, and I don't know if you run into this, but explain. That's why I think the book you wrote, geared towards children, was so fantastic because it reminded me one time I had given innocently some stones to this. She was like my godchild. This was in the '80s. I didn't tell her they were magic and everything in life was going to be, unicorn. You know what I mean? I gave them to
Yeah.
her, and
Unicorn
I
and
didn't. You
rainbows.
said, yeah. I didn't say, oh, she's going to turn into a little, cute fairy. And but the thing is, her mother had problems suddenly out of the blue with me, out of ignorance, because she lost some stones. They were just stones. I mean, they were stones, stone. But because I told her they were magic, I said, hey, I said these stones were not magic. I said they will make you feel deeply about lovely things in life. Their color. I was trying to, express myself. I wasn't doing anything, but it's like a dress. A kid will, lose her dress or whatever. But she went ballistic. The little girl acted like a little girl. She thought, oh my God, they're magic and they're gone. They're gone. I mean, do you find that maybe, you know what I mean? You said something earlier about that. It's not like they're magical. I don't know how you put it. I liked it. You
Well,
touched
it's
on
not
it.
going to abracadabra. I think that's what I
Yes.
said. It's not like, oh, you hold a rock and all of a sudden everything's, peaches and
It's
cream. It's not automatic.
it's an
It's going
intent. The
to, the
intent.
crystal or gemstone was going to amplify your intention of why you purchased it or why you're carrying it. And so that's the magic. It's the magic within ourselves. It's our own personal power
Yeah.
to stay focused on our true intention and our heart's desire and the magic of imagination and believing. That's where the
Hmm.
magic is.
And that is so magical in children. And I just applaud the fact that you wrote this great book. And like I said, I don't know if there's a lot of books there like that book, but I kind of, when I ran across it, it really caught my eye because I thought, how cool is that? Plus, I was reading some of it, and for me, but I thought, how cool is that? Because it was really lovely to see. I don't know, is there many books out there that are geared at the younger? group of
No,
people.
no, that's why I
Yeah,
wrote it, because that little
yeah, that's
boy, when I did
great.
that research for him to try to find him a book, order one
Yeah,
for him,
right.
wasn't one. That's what made me do it. And so it's basically the young reader's version of my first book, which is Chakra Awakening. That's the
Mhm.
bestseller. That's now
Oh,
in 5 languages already.
oh, that's right. I read that. I'm sorry, I didn't touch on that. But you have great. I mean, look at you have people back. You're fantastic. I mean, I know that you had. I didn't know Chakra Awakening. So that book was that was your very first, the very first book that
It
you.
was. It was. Yeah, I'm very grateful. I got that came out so good. That what is that expression? Right
Out
out
of
of
the,
the
yeah, there's
I
something about
can't
like a horse.
right out of the
Yeah,
gate. Right out of the
yeah,
gate.
right out of the
Yeah.
gate. The horse out of the gate. Kentucky Derby. Well, I think it's lovely. So I just haven't. Well, I have a little bit of time here. I wanted to ask you about. I do want to ask you about. I love the cards, the deck
Oh,
of
thank you.
cards.
The Angels and Gemstone
Hmm.
Guardians deck, right?
Right, that's the one. Could you tell us a little bit about you? So that was that the most recent thing that you, well,
It
the book,
is.
right?
This is what happened was my first deck, which is now in limited edition and almost sold out. It was so popular, and I sold over 6,700 copies on my own in since 2011. That Fintorn Press wanted to pick up my and do the reprint, and we re-established it. It became out better. And now the new deck is with the upgraded, gorgeous photographs that you'll find in the Essential Guide to Crystals, Minerals, and Stones, and the Color Your Life with Crystals. So we used those photographs, which are gorgeous, and then the artwork was redone. So the graphic work was redone, but the words are the same. And the content. So, like on one side of the card is a beautiful divine guidance that's it's giving some kind of divination, let's say, and a little bit of guidance to go with the gemstone. So you learn about the gemstone in that case, and then when you flip it over, on the other side of the card is an affirmation from an angel that's giving you a positive thought form to focus on to overcome any challenges that you might have, came across on the front side of the card.
How lovely is that? That's lovely.
I think it's
I'm not,
pretty cool.
no, absolutely. So it's gotten very good, very well received, and people are very well. I saw it. It was very lovely. I have not seen it physically, or that's the word I'm looking for. You know how you walk into the store and physically, I really would like it. It looks like a very great gift that I could give to a family member who is a angel practitioner and
Oh,
Chris and can.
good. That's a
I think
great
it's
idea.
fantastic. It's
And
a
you can go,
lovely
there is a
everybody.
YouTube little
Mhm.
preview of it
Yeah.
that you can see. Where do I have it? I feel like I have it on one of my website. It might be
Yeah.
on my homepage on the
Well, on
bottom.
YouTube,
And
yeah,
if they go to margaretannlembo.com, I
right.
think, is that where it is?
Yes,
No,
I
it's
did see it
not.
there, but also on your YouTube channel because I found a video you about a lot of great. You're talking about crystals a little bit. I don't know if
Yeah, yeah.
well, yeah, on your YouTube channel, everybody. I found, or you just type in your name, it's there. You find it. You have great videos. As a matter of fact, I like them, and I used one up for the show page,
I
and
saw that. That was a great idea. Thank you.
well, absolutely. And I wanted to know, could we only have a few more minutes? Is there anything coming up that you would like to talk about? I mean, this book that's coming out in 2016, you did bring that up, but uh, as far as I want to go back for just a second with the book and the deck. Is that very easy going for anybody? It wouldn't be intimidated. It's not like the tarot. It's something that's very
Yeah,
kind
very
and
easy.
warm,
You
and
just shuffle it. It's very lovely. The pictures are pretty. Everything's very, very nice. You just shuffle the deck, pick a card, and it's an inspiration for the day. It's very good.
it's nice. So you can use it's a divination, but also it's lovely little message. But you have incorporated the angels. The
Yeah,
those
the
gray
angel
angels.
gives you the message. So, like, here's
Hmm.
Angelite. I'll give you an example real quick.
Okay.
The
Hmm.
Angelite card. Are you receiving intuitive messages? Do you wish to be more intuitive? Quiet your mind. Accept communication from angels and spirit guides. True communication includes listening, speaking, and observing. Notice messages from nature and your surroundings. And then you turn it over, and the angel of communication says, this is your affirmation. I send and receive messages with ease and grace. Guidance and inspiration from my angels and other spirit guides come to me moment by moment. I interpret the messages I receive and apply them to my life with wisdom.
That's lovely, and that's really nice, and that is very welcoming. To be able to, that just feels really warm and welcoming, and very, very clear, and not intense, and it's really nice.
Yeah, yeah.
I wanted to tell everybody too. You sound. I'd love to go to your shop physically,
Yeah.
but I guess I could, look. But you're located in Florida,
Right,
and
Boynton Beach, Florida.
yeah, I bet it's a great store too. But anybody out there,
Uh,
anyway, I do also want to say that I really appreciate you joining us. But you do also have you're a recording artist. My gosh, you're a busy one. And so you have audio CDs and also releasing 215 new CD releasing March. Yeah.
I am. Fintorn Press is publishing a
Wow.
new CD
Great.
called Chakra Balancing Crystal Alignment, and it's going to be instructional, but also a guided meditation to do your own laying on of stones on your physical body. It's really nice.
That sounds so lovely. It sounds so not intimidating, I guess, and so more authentic to be able to. I love it. I'm really looking forward. I'm going to check that out because that sounds very friendly to do, and
It is.
not be. There's some things that are just a little bit hard for some, you myself, to approach. It's just too
Uh-huh.
intense. But you are, you're very just straight and forward. I love it. I really appreciate you joining us tonight, Margaret. Very much
Thank
so.
you. Thank you for
And
having
I want
me.
to. Yeah, I really do appreciate it, and you just keep getting those things out. You're busy and never going to breathe, but I feel you're helping a lot of people, and to understand things that sometimes they may not want to approach because there's just too much stuff. But are very clear, and it's very calming, and it's very warm and welcoming the way you explain
Good.
something.
That's what I want. I want people to remember the love that they are, and that's
Mm.
what their true nature is love and well-being.
Yes, and you have. So thank you so much, Margaret, and I hope you enjoy your evening, the rest of the evening if you're in Florida. Enjoy that.
Thank you. I
And
appreciate it. It's lovely to be speaking with you. I really appreciate you having me on your show.
well, thank you so much, and have a great night and weekend.
Thank you. You
Okay,
too.
bye-bye.
Bye.
Hello, my name is Res Miranda. If you're having relationship, career, or life issues, I'm inviting you to experience what it's like to have access to professional, highly accurate psychics and spiritual advisors you can trust to care and help you. Register now to get your free 6-minute reading by telephone or chat. Get answers, get access, psychic access, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. PsychicAccess.com.